when Jeen Yuhs came out, and so Sumia called me, and she was very excited, and she was like, yo, did you watch it? We have to talk about it. We have to debrief. No, Sumia and I, when we have our long phone calls, she was like, yeah, we have to talk about the whole thing. We have to, et cetera, et cetera. And I was exactly on where I am right now with Ukraine, Will Smith, but about Kanye. I was done hearing about Kanye, Pete, Kim, and etc. I was just, it's too much. It's too much. I want to clear my mind from all that. And in the contrary to a lot of people, when a lot of people are talking about something, a lot of people, they want to go and watch a documentary, or they're gonna go listen to the music. And this is why a lot of people believe that there's no such thing as bad publicity. As long as people are talking about you, it's good, you're there. You see what I mean? It's good, distant shadow. So me, I'm a little different. When too much people are talking about something, and it's the subject that even me, I'm reading about it, I'm watching videos about it, there's a point where I'm like, I'm done. Especially if it's negative stuff. I get to that point where I'm like, yo, listen, I'm tired of you, bro. Like, yo. And I have this with Kanye all the time. I really respect him as a musician. And I understand that he is on his own path and his own stellar trajectory. But just sometimes I'm not a kind of person, because I've been around people like him, I'm not a kind of person who excuses everything just because somebody is a genius in music or in art. And I tend to enjoy the art when I want, but most times I'm just gonna be like, yo, listen, this guy is just, yeah, he's going through it. I'm out. Read a little bit, talk about it maybe in the show, and then at a point I'm just like, listen, that's too much. That's too much. I'm done. And that's exactly how I was. So when I'm done, I don't even want to listen to music. I don't want to. I'm just done with the subject and that person and their art. That's me. Some people is the opposite. But you have no idea how dry is my throat. So when she told me, you have to watch it, I was like, nah, sis. Right now, I'm just over that guy. And but she told me, yeah, you really have to watch it. And a lot of people were telling me, oh, listen, you have to watch it. You're gonna love it. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll watch it. So when I went to, I'm sorry, I'm tired. So when I went to Brussels, on my way to Brussels, actually, I watched the first episode and I really enjoyed it. It was really a nice documentary. Then I watched the second episode when I came back from Brussels, and then I watched the third one from home probably a week after. And I really have I don't think Jeen Yuhs is a documentary about Kanye. I believe Jeen Yuhs is a documentary about Coodie. So Coodie is the person who films him for 20 years, who is his childhood friend from Chicago, who believed in him, left what he was doing, and started filming him. And to me, who have been around people like Kanye, not only I believe it's a documentary about him, but I also believe it's a documentary about selfless friends. People who, no matter what they do, they will flock to you, stick to you, no matter how you treat them. And then they will come and always come back and always try, even when they are disappointed in you, they will find all the reasons why. They will talk about God, they will talk about, but they will always be there. And when you are in your darkest times, when instead of remembering how you treated them, they will just jump on a plane and be whenever you need them, wherever you need them. And they are not yes men, but they are the people who, without being culprits, they kind of prevent you from learning. Hello, Dahlia. They kind of prevent you from learning how to treat people decently. And in a way, from a certain point of view, you need those friends. You need to have people like this, soldiers. When you need them, they're here. And to me, after the first episode, was maybe in the middle of the second episode, I was like, okay, this is about himself growing up and watching Kanye through the lens of his point of view. And I've seen guys like this around a few artists that I know. And they are good and bad for those artists. Because when you treat somebody in a certain way, so when you treat them good and they come with you, they believe in you, etc. But when you start treating them differently because now you are a mega star, they're gonna feel away, and then they're gonna just grow apart from you, not gonna see you for a few years. And when you have problems and you call them, they just arrive. But it feels like you are using them a little bit. To me, that's how I felt. I felt like you got people, they want to be used by the geniuses. They want to be a tool of the life of other people. And he was seeing himself doing his first show, Channel Zero, the birth of his child. You see his family and his life changing around Kanye. And I loved the documentary. It's very interesting to see, but at the same time, me, instead of thinking, oh wow, amazing, oh Kanye amazing, oh my God, he's been all this time, he's been da. I don't think the documentary really was about that, because it was not a documentary where somebody is speaking about Kanye this, Kanye that. It was when I met Kanye and when we did this and me and this is it and all. Then I met my wife. That, like, it's kind of my life around a genius of art. And that's very interesting to see. Like, so that was my take watching it. I'm going to go into a little bit of details, but then let's see. I think the new song Kilulu is popping. Thank you so much. I think Kanye was always obsessive about his art. However, it became amplified as he got more eyes on him. A lot of his current behaviors aren't necessarily new. Yep, that's exactly one of the things I took from the documentary. I remember a few of the things he was saying in the first thing. I think when the thing starts, he's a young cat, but he's already making money, doing beats, working for Rockefeller, etc. And people want to see him as a beat maker, but he knows he never doubted himself, which is actually great. The only problem is, it's not a problem. He always saw himself as a god. I don't think it's a problem. It's just that the more money you have, and I was speaking with a friend today about another friend who, listen, in our industry, there's not that much money in the Zouk Kizomba industry. There's a lot of money, but it's not that much money. Like, we're not talking about multi-million dollars. I mean, some of us made some good money, but we're not talking about, artists with 20 million, 25 million dollars in their bank account. Like, that's what I mean. But still, you don't need a lot of money to go crazy. You just need a little bit of fame. And interestingly, I know some people, they always thought highly of themselves. But then when they had money, they kind of took a revenge on life and a revenge on people. Oh yeah, I couldn't have any girl. Now I'm gonna fuck all of them. Oh yeah, I could not be able to go in the club. Now I'm going free everywhere. So I'm coming with a bunch of people. Yeah, and when I'm there, I want this and I want that and I want to be treated a certain way and etc. Like, and some people are taking revenge. And now, yeah. Oh, I like your girl. I'm taking her. Like, and I've seen this so many times. And I think it was very interesting to see, and I think it was very inspiring to see and to recognize the drive, because it's the drive that at the same age as Kanye, I had that drive. It's not that you're gonna make it, but you deserve to make it, and you are ready to put the work in, to take the train, to take the car, to go in other countries, to just do what it takes to arrive there. I know that drive. I recognize that drive. This is the drive of the people who are destined to win. And there was moments in the documentary where, it was just, he knew he had the vision. He knew where he wanted to go, and he knew that whatever the shell that he was in was not enough for him. And then when he got there, the next shell was not enough very early, and it grew and grew and grew and grew. And this is something I recognize because that's where I've been my whole life. Every time I'm somewhere, people want to reduce me to, making beats, rapping, etc. And then I prove people time and time and time again that I can be more than what they think, etc. So I completely understand that part. And I think that part was super interesting in the documentary. And then there's the relationship with the mother. The relationship with his mother is very interesting. You can feel that his mother was the canalist, somebody who would make something out of what he, like, you know, one day when I was at Sony Music, a dear friend of mine, who's actually somebody who mentored me at a point, told me, you are going in every direction and you have to learn how to do one thing at a time and finish it. And this really helped me in not being frustrated, because I was trying to do so many things at the same time that I was just doing 10% of everything. And 20 years after, that same person told me, yo, you know, it's crazy, because I remember telling you, you have to not do everything at the same time. But in the last 20 years, not only you learn to do everything one by one, but then you learn to do everything at the same time and finish everything. So I'm even more surprised. And you just exceeded every expectation, because now, listen, from podcast to YouTube, to music, to mixing, to making beats, to rapping, to singing, to this, to that, different languages. Like, I was like, yo. And you have some people like that in this world, where they will be misunderstood their whole life, and they have to learn that. They have to understand that and just decide to live with that. And at the same time, those same people they have to also learn to not speak Chinese to people who speak English. And I feel like I've been frustrated like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I remember the frustrations where I was speaking things and I was like, how they don't understand. It's just there. It's logic. It's in front of their eyes. And then I understood. I'm speaking Chinese to them. The things that I see, they will only see them in 7 years, no matter what I do. So I have to learn to move differently, so that instead of waiting for people to do the things, I do them myself for me, and I let people do what they have to do. And once I understood that, I started being way less frustrated about other people, and I was like, yo, it's your business, it's your career, you do what you want. But I know a lot of people have been saying that since his mother passed, Kanye has been erratic, etc. I believe, yeah, it's a trauma. But one thing that I take from the documentary is that, sadly, or not, if you believe that he's not crazy, he's just somebody who is on a different level mentally and on a different cosmic trajectory. If you believe it, and if you believe both, actually, you see in that documentary from episode 1 that this is nothing new. It's just, whether it's the money or something else, he has just been getting more and more of what he was already. It's a cool documentary. It's very interesting, because I like the fact that Coodie is very honest in his documentary. From the moment where he would be a selfless friend, to the moment where he would be frustrated, to the moments where they grew apart, to the moments where he comes back. There's this you can see a little bit that at a point he opens his eyes, and he opened his eyes and he realizes that that person that he grew up with and he knew when he was a teen, at 42, is not the same person anymore. It's normal. We all change. We all just evolve into a different part of ourselves. One needs to move on without resentment. I regret buying this chair. It's always making noise. So yeah. And then you have part 3 when he started changing. He changed girlfriends. He went from now he's with Kim Kardashian, and then he became a billionaire, and he owns all these brands, and he actually has a cult. He has a cult following, and he kinds of know what he wants from people, and he knows that he can get what he wants from people. So he has kind of there's a point where he's talking with Rick Rubin, and you can hear how he's a little tyrannic, like a lot of sometimes people who are geniuses, or they know exactly what they need so much, and what they need from people, and what you need as well, that they kind of force you in a direction. Steve Jobs was like that. Most of the people who are deemed game changers, they're like that. They know how to persuade people in a certain way. And then you start seeing him believing that all the presidential stuff and all the craziness that goes is part of a plan, and that people don't understand, and he kind of has a justification for everything. And it's very interesting to see, because I've seen that before. And to come back to, if you have questions or opinions, don't hesitate to say something in the chat. I know you love my voice, but don't worry. In 1996 was the first time I went on tour with Jean-Michel Rotin, when he was, and he is still considered as one of the genius musicians from Guadeloupe. And I remember that the people around him were exactly like Coodie with Kanye. Selfless. And his comportment, do we say comportment? His behavior was also the same as Kanye with these people, and with people in general. He knew what he wanted. He knew his value as an artist, and he. I remember one time I'm in my room in his friend's apartment, and we're on tour, and we just arrived. We've been there for a few days only, and we are in the Bemao in Guadeloupe, in Christian's house, and I don't know, we hear him yelling about something with his girlfriend at the time. We had no clue. We were in our rooms, but we heard him. And then we hear him slamming the door. So we don't know. And then we don't hear from him for 2-3 days. So we look for him. And so imagine, I was born in Congo. Then I grew up, then I grew up in France. And I don't speak Creole at that time. And I'm not from Guadeloupe. So I know my way. I know how to get to I remember how to get the bus to go to that girl that I met in the club and that other girl that I met in the show and that other girl. That's all I know. And I know how to go to Place de la Victoire, get some bouquet and come back. That's all I know. Everything else, I stay at home and I watch TV, I watch BET. And when it's time to go perform, I get in the car and I get driven somewhere. And then I take the microphone, I do my thing, get paid, and come back to the house. That's all I know at that time. So imagine you are 10,000 kilometers away from home. And then somebody disappears on you. And that's exactly what happened with Jean-Michel. I was there with Michael from Organize. So we were all dancing for him and rapping in his shows. And after that altercation with his girlfriend, he just disappeared. What's good, Rodrigo? He just disappeared. And he disappeared for, I don't even know how long. 3 weeks? Something like that. Maybe more. And I remember everybody from his team and friends and everybody that were part of his the guy who used to work for him at the studio, the guy who used to dance with us, like his people from Guadeloupe. They would have all sorts of excuses for him. And me, I was like, wait a minute. Like, who takes us out of where we live? Takes us out of Paris. Brings us here. In Latin America. In the other side of the world. In the Caribbean. And then disappears for 3 weeks? And what I'm supposed to be happy? I was pissed off. I was like, yo, listen. And yeah. Everybody was like, no, that's the way it is. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody had all the excuses in the world. And we had a song that was number 1 called Tour. And at a point, we met some guy. The guy said, I'm looking for the people who sing this song. Turns out it was us. All of a sudden we on tour. We're doing our thing by ourselves. And I remember that when we decided to do our thing by ourselves, my half, the people I brought from Paris, they were down for anything. His people, they were like, I don't know. It's only when I said, listen, I'm going to take the money, whether you want it or not. We're supposed to make, I don't remember the prices, but let's imagine that in the money of that time, we're going to make 1,000 each per show, and there's 40 shows. So I don't mind getting 160K and split it in 2. And I take 80K and Mike takes 80K. And we're going to sing your songs for you. We don't care. It's only now everybody signed a contract and then we went. But those people, they were kind of scared to do anything until their masters came back. And I was like, yo, what's wrong with these people? And interestingly, when he came back from tour, we were now famous. Mind you, it's 96. So when he came back from tour, we are doing our thing. So he arrived at one of our shows, and interestingly, instead of being pissed, we were excited to show him what we did while he was away. And he included our show inside of his show. Now we were his opening act, which was great. So we asked a raise, etc., etc. All was cool. But then it disappeared again. The next year, we went there again. We were at a friend's house, and this friend didn't even know we were coming. And he still took us in, because those are people who are a little bit manipulative. And I was seeing this with Kanye. I've seen him manipulate a few people inside of the documentary at certain points. And it's not that they're mind controlling you. It's just that they explain to you that you can do what you want, but they actually don't really give you a choice. And at a point, it disappears again. And I called a meeting between everybody, between the whole team. And I was like, listen, I think we should do this. I think we should move on from the album. And when he comes, he's going to fill in the blanks. We're going to leave some space for him to sing, or maybe we're going to put some raps in there. And if he arrives and he's ready to do the thing, we do the thing. If he doesn't arrive, listen, he'll take the next train. That was my way of thinking at that time. I mean, still my way of thinking, but. And I had half of the team not willing to feel like they were betraying him. And me, I was like, nobody's betraying nobody. We are being betrayed. The guy disappeared on us. Like, we're in the West Indies. We've been here for a month. Like, if we were not smart and didn't know how to make our own money, we would be here. We don't even know how to get back home, because he's the one who bought our tickets. And people are like, no, I don't know. And that's how I met my mentor, who told me, after listening to me talking, he said, you're a leader, and leaders don't follow people. And I was like, what? And that's how I moved to South America, in Guyana, in French Guiana. And I started working on my solo project, because I was just tired of that. And then when he reappeared after a few months and called me because he needed me to rap here or rap there, I said, yeah, send me the instrumentals, or I'll come back for a day or two, and I will just come, record everything the same night, all the raps, write them and record them, and then go back. And for him, it was strange, because he was used to everybody doing whatever he wants. And me, I was not that guy, because I was another person who believes in what he was doing and what was his destiny. I believed in that. And it's not a question of not being humble. I was always a humble person. It's just that I also did believe. I mean, listen, those who know me from a kid, they know, like, I was always an eccentric kid. I always had strange haircuts. I always had like sunglasses, like from very, very young. And I remember that when he came back and I told him that I could not do such and such and such things, not because I didn't want to, but because I already had interviews scheduled, album presentation here, one show there. He didn't understand. He was like, yo, the crew is more important than your stuff. And I was like, nah, my stuff is more important than the crew. And I'm not a selfless friend. Like, you have to be worth my time and my love if you want my love back. And you have to treat me a certain way if you want me to stay around you. And what I take from this documentary with Coodie is that he's a guy who was willing, and listen, I'm not criticizing, I'm just giving you the perspective on how I've watched this documentary. He was willing to let go everything he was doing to follow another guy and film him. I don't know if he was paid to do it. I don't know when he started getting paid, or if I don't know. I know that he got paid well by Netflix. I think they give him 30 million to finally finish this whole documentary. But what up, Teka? I just see that yeah, you know, I just believe that when people treat me a certain way, I'm not gonna just continue to treat them selfless. That's not me. But I remember that after a few years, you know, my album comes out, it's super successful, he sings in my album, everything is great, Then it disappears a little bit, and then he reappears in the same label where I was. And when he arrives in the label where I was, and he decides that his album will come out in December, everybody, all the artists were scared to release an album the same day as him. That's how big he was to the psyche of the people from the West Indies. For them, it was, he is one of those artists, and they see him like this, and it feels like a lot of them are not able to think straight when it comes to him, and to tell him, because I remember listening to the album and saying, I think it's missing a few hits. I think it's missing a little bit of direction, this. And people were like, are you crazy? And I was like, no, I'm just telling you what I think. And I remember talking to Nichols that day, and Nichols was like, no, I'm moving my album in 2 months. I don't want to come out the same day as him. And me, I was like, I'm releasing Elijah's album same month as him, because listen, I'm not changing my dates for other people. I trust in what I do. And yeah, it gave me all those vibes when I was watching this documentary. And it really feels like it's a documentary about, of course, something that his mom said that was very interesting. His mom said there's a lot of Kanye's in his head. And this, you know, those type of details that people don't really realize. He always had a lot of voices in his head, and he always was a good terrain for the bipolar stuff, and you know, some people without filters, that's how they are. They just, they have no filter. So they just say what they feel saying, and the problem is they also get angry way more than they should, and when they go on tweet storms, it's whole hell break loose, and especially when you are as big as he is. And we've been seeing this, like a lot of these artists, and a lot of these artists that I know as well, they all had kind of mental breakdowns. I don't know if it's because they cannot process everything their brain is and their soul is giving them. Maybe the body is not enough, or if because it's just too much pressure from too many places because they are what they are. And it's very interesting to see in a documentary. I watched this documentary, and at the end of the documentary, I didn't feel like I've learned anything major. It didn't change my opinion about Kanye. I was just like, that was a cool documentary. It's great to see how somebody is grinding and nobody wants to believe in it, and they are just able. They are even ready to invest themselves in their own stuff until they catch the attention finally of the right people. This is something I really loved about him and his hustle. He really deserves all the success he had because he really put the time. He was there, most of the time ignored, but he just kept coming at it. He never lost the eyes on the prize. And this is also a good lesson for a lot of artists. A lot of artists, they abandon quick, especially these days. Put some rainbows in the chat if you're still here and you enjoy it. I'm going to sleep soon. What was I saying? Let me watch what you say. Leaders lead. Let the leader lead. You remember that song from Eric B. and Rakim? Crazy, man. A milliardaire, I hope you're good. I think I hope it inspires this documentary, and I think you should see it. I hope it inspires people who have a dream and believe in themselves to never give up when you see that somebody who is now the most acclamated artist of our generation, when you realize that this person is now at the top of the top of the top of the top of the game, and he just won 2 Grammys. Congratulations to him. And when you see him, once you know where he is today in terms of success, and how he actually is somebody who impacted culture on a different level, it's the kind of documentary you want to see about how he arrived there and how he believed when no one believed, and how also there was a group of people who believed as well, and a lot of those people are still with him today. They're still there, they're still working with him, they're still benefiting from, and they are his inner circle, but they also seen him change from getting all this money, getting all these women, getting all this fame, getting all these accolades, and getting all the teams of yes men who are here for the business, who are here for the money, etc. And those are changes that are inherent to business. But if there's 2 takes away that you have to take from these documentaries, those 2. You're gonna have a lot of people who don't believe in you. And you might not make it, but lesson number one, believe in yourself and keep believing in yourself. Lesson number two, work hard. Work hard and don't give up. And lesson number three, document everything. Listen, I'm so happy that I'm at vlog 870 something, and that if one day I want to do a documentary about my career as a musician, we can go, I think, until 2005 and maybe before, and there's a lot of footage on my YouTube channel. You don't even need to go and look. It's on my YouTube channel. You can just go and type vlog number 10 and try to see where I was and what I was doing, etc. That's amazing to have all these content, because a lot of these superstars and artists in general, and a lot of them, all of us, we have a life story. We have how we got there, how we moved in there, how we arrive on the top of there. And we have it in our memories, in our soul, in our heart, but it kind of fades with time. If you had somebody who filmed the whole history of you getting there, conversation, beefs, moments where you don't agree with something, etc., etc., you have somebody who filmed everything from the beginning, and at that point you can make it a 6-hour movie, if not more, 7-hour movie. That's amazing. Well, it's not 7 hours, 6 hours, 5 and something. That's amazing. But you need to have, you need to think about it. You need to start documenting it. And that's beautiful that they thought about it. And to me, it's a testament to how a visionary artist is.